Dan Harvell, if you would please come forward and please keep your comments brief, realizing there's 20-something people behind you.
Honorable members of the subcommittee and Mr. Chairman, I am Dan Harvell, a resident of Anderson County and president of the South Carolina Citizens Lobby. I represent, without compensation, indeed, the largest special interest group in South Carolina, that being the taxpayers. Over the past year, I have talked with thousands of citizens all across the state who are thrilled at the property tax savings they will realize within the coming year's tax notices. I am very positive about the economic stimulus that will result from our state's homeowners being able to spend and or invest more than half the amount of their previous year's property tax bills. The reform that passed this General Assembly last year was the right thing to do for the right reasons and at the right time. Allowing all our citizens, as well as visitors, to contribute to the necessary funding of local government and education is the most fair and equitable means of supporting those services that only our governmental entities can provide. We have broken the chains of threat around the necks of thousands of lower and marginal income homeowners who have been or were about to be threatened with financial disasters due to spiraling property tax burdens. Likewise, we have freed up thousands of exorbitant tax payments from those who will now spend and invest that money within our state's economy with exponential benefit to businesses large and small. And as that money continues to turn over within our economy, additional sales tax revenues will flow. You, as our state's lawmakers, have granted reprieve to all South Carolinians, but that substantial relief is now so soon threatened as once again, even under a new, more fair system of taxation, local government and education are acting in haste to ensure that they will continue to garner more of our citizens' hard-earned income than is morally or ethically due them. Ironically, despite all the wailing and whining, our state's abundance of magnetic attributes will keep us growing at a rapid pace. That growth and all the new tax dollars that come with it will be more than enough to fund the real needs of local government and education. Unfortunately, as has been historically proven, many of our local entities have for too long proven themselves incapable of discerning the difference between wants and needs, between real priorities and fanciful spending. It is time for elected officials on the local level to fulfill the duty of their offices and dictate reasonable common sense budgets. Any elected official unwilling to not spend more than the working man's true economy can provide should not hold office. Sure, this makes their job more difficult, but it is their obligation to the citizen voters that placed them there. If for them the heat is too hot in the kitchen, then the voters can find other capable cooks who can handle it. The citizens' crescendo that forced the 2006 tax reform was the result of long-term self-inflicted irresponsibility of overzealous elected officials and bureaucrats. Now they continue to have the gall to demand even more spending than the real economy would dictate. Enough was enough, and in this respect is enough once again. Fact is, in good times, government can never get enough to feed its excesses, and in hard times, says it needs even more to help those who can't afford the cost of living. Reasonable spending limitations, along with the constitutional assessment cap of the 2006 reform, will protect our homeowners' future quality of life and standard of living, and protect our homes and businesses so that government complements our lives, not threatens it. In closing, the bottom line is this: operating government and education within the true economy is the only sane way to approach our future. I urge you to pay close attention as to who is being paid to argue for the continued growth of government. Who is here to argue for more bureaucracy, more programs, more departments, more employees, and more near or above six-figure jobs to administrate it all. All this while rank and file governmental employees struggle with minimal pay raises, threats to their health care benefits, and teachers that have to dig into their own pockets for classroom supplies and further ask students to bring paper for copy machines, which, by the way, many PTOs have to furnish. I leave you with this final, somewhat personal account of just how far we have advanced government within the past several decades. Now, and this is personal, in my school district, Anderson County District 2, between 1954 and 1964, my aunt was the secretary of the school superintendent. At that time, because of the unfortunate circumstance of segregation, we had twice as many schools to administer and fund as we do now. Now, I understand the population was not what it was now, but nonetheless, that was a lot of duplicity. That district was run out of a house. The district office was a house. There were 2 employees in the district office, the superintendent and my aunt. And for those years, almost 10 years, 2 people administrated Anderson County School District 2 with twice the number of schools it has now. I think that's a reality check and something that we need to think seriously about. Thank you so much for hearing me, and I appreciate all you do for the people of South Carolina. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Harvell. I'd ask that our members hold questions in lieu of time.